The Last Honest Woman, Without a Trace, the In-Depth series, Night Shield, Whiskey Beach. These are all very well-written, fantastic books created by Nora Roberts. She's a very talented woman, I've never denied that. But if there's one thing I can't stand, it's wasted potential. Every writer has their duds. In my top 5 worst books of 2017, I listed Sundog by Stephen King at number 4. I love Stephen King as a writer, he's amazing. I just didn't like Sundog. And much like him, Nora Roberts has books that I simply don't like. It's not like I expect every one of her books to be some deep introspection into the human existence. However, Roberts happens to be one of the most wishy-washy people I know when it comes to her repertoire. She has her good works, but she also has these books that you can tell were written for a paycheck. You've got Sullivan's Woman, Blithe Images, Less Than a Stranger, and of course, Temptation. Temptation is a sloppily thrown together wreck about a girl named Eden who runs a summer camp after losing her father. She ends up falling for an apple farmer named Chase Elliott. And from the beginning, this guy rubbed me the wrong way. He stalks Eden constantly, forces kisses and romantic actions on her despite her saying no. He talks down to her in front of her friends and the girls at her summer camp. He gets into fights with her ex-boyfriend, and gets angry when he tries to initiate sex and she gets scared. It's bullshit romance 101. Usually I don't care, this kind of shit's a dime a dozen. You can pick these things off of a rack at a grocery store. It's not worth my time. However, what makes this such an atrocity is it's written by a woman who has proven herself time and again as being a person who can create healthy, believable romance. We have Eli and Abra in Whiskey Beach, Trace and Jillian in Without a Trace, Jonah and Allie in Night Shield, Abby and Dylan in The Last Honest Woman. These are relationships that work well on a professional, emotional, and intimate level, all while being respectful of one another. That doesn't mean they don't fight or bicker, but they don't border on dysfunctional or abusive. Another problem with Temptation is how poorly it's written. Aside from sloppy sentence structure, there's a shit ton of exposition. Now, I don't mind exposition dumps, so long as we see the characters grow and develop over time. A little exposition here or there is fine. I mean, don't talk down to us, but sure. The issue with Temptation is there is no character development. You get a massive exposition dump at the beginning about how Eden lost everything and how her father died. That's it. She doesn't grow or change at all throughout the course of the story, and neither does Chase. She's still a weak, spineless woman, and he's still an abusive asshole. At least in some of her other paycheck books, there is some change. You can see it, kind of. In Sullivan's Woman, Colin learns to not be a dick. In Blithe Images, Hillary comes out of her shell a little bit, and her boyfriend Brett stands up to his psycho ex-girlfriend. And in Less of a Stranger, Megan learns to accept her talents and have faith in her artistic endeavors. In A Manner of Speaking, David actually helps Megan to see how important her artwork really is. So there is really no excuse for Temptation. I honestly believe Roberts just didn't care. And I don't want to hear, oh, maybe it's some of her earlier work. No. Aside from maybe Whiskey Beach, the other books listed above came out before Temptation. Hell, Without a Trace and The Last Honest Woman came out in the early 90s. It's obvious that she simply didn't care. She took a massive dump, gave it a name, and threw it out to the public. This is a messy, abusive, half-assed romance written by a woman who knows better and knows how to write good fiction. And also, as a final note to just nail this coffin closed, I think it's funny how in Night Shield, Jonah refuses to defend himself when a woman's literally attacking him, because, and I quote, "I don't hit women." But it's okay for Chase and Temptation to grab Eden and force her into doing things she doesn't want to do. Fuck it. Temptation gets an F. Fuck this book. It's the worst Nora Roberts novel I've ever read. It's the worst romance I've ever read. I'd rather read Skin Deep and Sacred Sin 7 times and write a thesis on both before I ever read this crap again.